Afternoon, how are we all doing? Another New York session. Afternoon, Diamond. Afternoon, Ladder. I'm just finishing off a quick optimization. I'll be with you in a sec. Oh, it's finished. With you in a second. What was that one I just saw? 90 grand. Where was that? 90 grand off of a 20k drawdown. Blimey. Interesting. Okay. Let me just stick that in my spreadsheet. What's the return on drawdown? 3.69. Sort largest to smallest. 4.63. Holy crap. That's a big return. Uh, 83,763, run 34. Let me just test that. One sec. While we're waiting for the market to open. I'll be with you in a minute. Let me just test this. On tick. Just want to see what the profit curve is on this. Be interesting. Right. Let that tick along. Afternoon, it's time. Brian, Evil. Right. So, what's going on? I've had a couple of trades going. I put them in the group. I took a trade on oil, which is nicely in profit. We come up into resistance. Let me just move that down while that's testing. So oil, basically, we had some news. So going back to why I took this trade, we had some oil news coming out about from OPEC, basically. Saying that they're looking at global demand increasing and projected global growth is going up, etc., etc. So oil output has been rising. So lots of positive oil news came out. I was looking for an opportunity to get into oil on a pullback, and that oil news came out. And this morning, it's why can't I draw on my screen? There we go. Oh, what the hell? Let me draw. We had this pullback yesterday, and then this morning it was rallying. So I thought, as we've had decent news, I'm just going to assume that's going to continue. That's where I was wanting to see what happened. And at the moment, we are pulling back. So I'm just keeping a cautious eye on oil. But obviously, the reason I'm long is I'm expecting this peak formation low, high, low, higher high to go in. So I'm looking to get out somewhere above this resistance, probably before that resistance. So somewhere between ADR and 175 ADR to get out of this and then wait for another pullback. But I thought, as we've got some decent news come out on oil, I was just going to have a crack at it. And then I would add if it went down. So I've got into those. There's two positions on there because I took one which was far too small a lot size. It's just an impulse purchase. So I put two on to get the proper lot size on. Euro Swiss gone long. So I was waiting for Euro Swiss to pull back on the hourly. So 1 hour. We're extended on the RSI. So I was waiting for a pullback to go long. I was looking at this area. This is what I said about this morning. I was hoping we were going to get down into this area. But we got an ADR hit and it started to reject. So EA's got me in long on Euro Swiss. Bit of a fast ADR bounce this morning, but that's fine. Euro Pound I've got into long as well. I've been waiting for entry on the Euro Pound. Resistance. Not quite ADR, but on the hourly, we just about got extended. Now, this didn't quite get there. It got to 30.8. But I just fancied it. So I took it anyway. So I took this manually. If this does push down, and we are going to come down for a deeper test in this area, then the EA will get me in again because obviously we'll be extended and the EA will take a second position on it. That's absolutely fine. And pound New Zealand, I'm short on. Obviously, that today is just done nothing again. So looking at the pound New Zealand, it's just complete chop chaos. So yeah, fine. I'll get another one on up there. Just mess. So I'm happy to get short again. And that's it. So I got those 4 on. Nothing's gone anywhere as yet today. Morning, Nivard. Malcolm, one or the other. Nasdaq. What the hell? Why have I got a 4-point gap in my Nasdaq? I'm just going to check another chart. Oh yeah, there is. Something's causing the Nas to go ahead of the open. We've got 3 minutes to the open, but it's already off. Not quite sure what that is. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Again, that EA test has just finished. So yeah, sorry. Going back to the news, Canadian CPI came out as expected, pretty much. So inflation was a negative 0.6 off of a forecast of 0.5. So pretty much it was a hit. It was an as expected. So Canadian money markets see roughly 73% chance of a 25 basis point hike tightening this month, basically. So again, same as the US, what they are looking at is potentially a 0.25 instead of a 0.5. So if we look at the fundamentals, you're seeing the same, are you, Diamond, on that spike? Yeah, I don't quite know what. Something's just spooked the Nasdaq, but we'll have a look in a minute. But looking at the fundamentals, obviously, we're looking at slowing down the rate hikes on the US dollar down to 0.25s because we are so high at 4.5, 4.25 on the CAD. So what they're saying is we'll probably start to slow down again. So not the 0.5s we used to, but the 0.25s, but they are all still increases. So inflation for the Canadian dollar has not really changed. It is still roughly where it is. It's not gone down, so we're not having a negative impact on it yet. So it's all still a little bit woolly about that one with the CAD. So it's interesting. Look, month on month, Forex Factory was forecasting a 0.6. Over on here, we were forecasting a 0.5. But either way, it's pretty much the same, isn't it? So yeah, so that's news. There's no other news. More increases in production on oil. So that's pretty much it for news today. We've had the Empire State at 1:30 as well, which came out as I just really don't pay any attention to that, but it came out as a negative. So yeah, so there's your news. Not quite sure what the hell that was. No news. So that's not bad, is it? So it was an 83.7 off of an 18 drawdown on control points, and on tick I got 83.7 and 18.9. So I've got an 81 off of a 17. So it's pretty much there, yeah. It's a good set file, that. I like. So that set file basically on the DAX is an optimization looking at the 15-minute opening range only. And I've just been running some optimizations on it. This optimization was seeing whether or not it's more beneficial to add than it is to leave it as it is. And adding, so this is basically this set file here. So it's that result. We got 83 off of 18. And the original set test got nowhere near off of not too different. So yeah, massive impact. So 3.35. So this is again going back to adding to your winning trades when you're in profit. Difference between a 3.35 return on drawdown and a 4.63 return on drawdown. Same time period, exactly the same strategy. Only difference is we're just adding to our winners instead of not adding to our winners. Big difference, isn't it? And that's in a year. So that's the profit curve. Not, again, stagnation. Fairly good. Very good. Stagnation. A little bit of a loss. stagnation, then we start again making profit. So again, this is what this is all about. You're never going to get more than about a 30% strike rate on this. It's a breakout strategy, 36% strike rate. Short and long. So yeah, you're never going to get a huge consistent winning thing with a breakout strategy and a trend strategy. They're slow burners, aren't they? But yeah, I like it. Just save that. There. Minimize. I just want to quickly, while we're just waiting for the NASDAQ to open, let me just quickly set another optimization running. I just want to, what did I want to test? Oh yeah, I wanted to test a daily max with this set file as well, but also, bear with me one sec. ORB DAX ORB 15.1 add ORB 15.1. So I just want to, oh no, sorry, one more. Just want to test this again. Using ads. And I also wanted to test it with, oh, come on, brain. What was the other thing I wanted to test it with? Oh, yeah, different opening percentages and targets. So I wanted to try 50 to 125s. And I wanted to try on a 500 a daily target of a 2-to-1 return to a 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1 return. So I'm just going to set that running, and I'm going to call that save ORB set 4 because I'm running 2 other tests on 2 other machines. Save. Bear with me one sec. Right in the middle of doing stuff. That'll be 15.4. And I take a screenshot of the settings so I don't forget what the hell I'm doing because I'm old. And using the same set as that. Oh, for inputs, which is control points down there. Save. Okay, control points, go. Right, let that run. Okay, trading stuff. Let's do some trading stuff. Okay, so NASDAQ opening range, 5-minute opening range is in. I am trading the 15-minute opening range. I've been doing lots of testing on the M15, and I've come to the conclusion I prefer it over the M5. So I'm trading M15. I'm also trading M15 to M30 as well. So I'm trading the first 15-minute opening range, and then I'm also trading the 15-minute to the 30-minute opening range as well as the second range. Without a trailing stop, I'm just literally sticking a stop in the other side of the range, and I'm going to manually manage this. So I'm just testing this out at the moment. Just make sure that is smiley face. Yeah. So opening range, 5-minute opening range is in. What we were talking about this morning, getting a little bit whipsawed on these 5-minute opening ranges, I've decided to see if I can go with the 30s and the 15s. So we'll wait for that to open. So quite a lot of hits today as well. Also quite some spread on the nose. You know, I noticed that as well. There was a pre-market. There was a big spread on this morning, or this afternoon. A lot bigger than normal. And I don't know why. There's something going on that we're not party to somewhere. And I'm not quite sure. Normally that happens ahead of news, but there is no news. So I don't really know what all that volatility was about, but it seems to be over now. They filled that gap anyway. So but anyway, Evil, just need to stick on account, leave it alone and check again after 1 year or so without touching it. Not sure if I can handle something like that. I know, this is the problem. So, can that be as it's the first day after a long weekend in the US? Well, what, the pre-market stuff? I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Not sure. I'm expecting some movement today, some volatility, but at the moment we literally are inside bar again. So we'll wait. Yeah, that is the difficulty with EAs. Is leaving them alone. I have the same problem. It's not just you, Evil. I manually trade M5, so having something do it for me is very difficult. It's like, you know, letting the machines take over is hard work. But yeah, I'm going to get an account. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick an account up, a demo. I'm just going to stick a demo up for the minute with the with some set files on that I like, and I'm just going to let that run. And it's the same way as I've let the other one run. So you know, I've got a signal running on MQL5 for the market reverse alerts. Yeah, that's been running for over a year. It's done over 100% profit. And that is doing exactly what it should be doing, which is the set file I thought was going to be brilliant, and it is, and it's working absolutely fine, which is H1M5. But as soon as you interfere with it, so yeah, I'm going to do the same thing with the ORBEA just so that I've got some set files running. I'm just going to leave them going on an account, I think. But the problem with prop is eagerness. So I'm going to start it running on my own account, but I'm still not 100% sure on the set files I want to use. I'm the sort of person that doesn't believe data. I verify my data, and I make sure my data is 100%. And what I'm doing is 100%. My testing is very thorough. But when I go into live testing phase, and I've only been live testing this now for 2 or 3 weeks, I see things unfolding in front of me, and I'm like, no, that's stupid, letting it do that. And then I will change it, and then I have to go through that live testing process again, and it takes me a while to get live testing complete until I'm happy to stick it on the server and just let it do its thing. And this M15 thing is just part of that. You know, I'm just finding M15 is better because, especially with that, with the NAS as well. Look at the whip saw you get at the open. This is a 5-minute opening range break to the downside, but you know, it's not convincing, is it? I really think this is still part of the initial cash balance. You know, and I didn't get enough time to do thorough testing on the opening range breakout EA. There's so many tests to do, and I'm just one man. How much money have you made using this strategy till now? I varying amounts, Jar Jar. Which strategy are you talking about, though? I trade lots of strategies. I couldn't tell you how much money I've made. 6 figures plus. I can't tell you how much, though. And I don't really want to. You might work for the IRS. IRS doesn't have anything to do with me. I live in the UK. Inland revenue. But I do pay my taxes. My accountant makes sure I do. God, that was a big bill this year. Do you know what? I hate having to pay your tax bill in January. It's the worst thing in the world. Christmas, massively expensive. January, tax bill. Jesus. I had a 5-digit tax bill this year. That gives you an idea. I had a 5-digit tax bill. Gives you a clue as to how much I earned. Right. So opening range 15 is in now at the close of this candle. We've got 3.5 minutes to the close of this candle. It's a big old range, that. So we'll see where we go from here. But looking for clues on the Nasdaq is very difficult today. As somebody just pointed out, this is the first day back after the bank holiday yesterday, and obviously we had nothing yesterday afternoon. We had a rotation day in London, and we had virtually nothing in New York. We've had a 6-day push, and everything is due a little bit of a pullback. So it's very difficult to tell which way we're going to go today. We've just taken out the pre-market, the Globex session highs, which is here, which was early in the Globex session. There is an obvious target up there for anybody that shorted yesterday. But as to whether this is going that way or that way today, who knows? Difficult to tell today. So we'll just wait for the opening range to go in, and then we'll make our decisions from there. Considered moving to Dubai? Not really. I've got 2 children at school, so it might be a bit tricky. I don't think they'd like it very much if I moved to Dubai. I'd have to take the whole family. The problem for me is I seem to be very time period dependent. I did test it on Axie with the DAX range from 1010 to 1020 with 0.5% risk. It doubled a 10K account. Oh, doubling an account is not a problem at all. Look at this test. I mean, look at these tests I'm doing. Yeah, I mean, this 320 different tests here. There's 320 profitable results. The very worst case scenario, is that you only made 3 grand. That's the worst case scenario. Doubling an account on a 10K account is not a problem. Drawdown is the problem. Trying to do it with a realistic drawdown. I've got set files which will quadruple an account with the opening range breakout strategy, but you will have up to a 50% drawdown. So if you can handle drawdown, you can get a massive return with this strategy, but it's all about risk and making it not quite so dangerous. So morning, David. Afternoon, even. The strategy on the screen, there's multiple strategies on the screen, Jar Jar. If you're talking about the opening range breakout strategy, this is a new strategy. Well, it's not a new strategy. I've been trading it. I traded it about 10 years ago, but it's a new strategy to me now for indices as of this year. So it's still under development and it's still in testing. Back testing, you've been looking at something around about a 3 to 5 times return in a year. That's what the back testing points to. Anything from a 2.5 to a 5 return on drawdown, depending on how you set it. Evil, run it on 2021, it blew it. Yeah, wrong settings. And this is there's the opening range in. Yeah, I mean, with the with back testing, you've got to make sure that you're testing it out of sample, and you've done exactly the right thing there, Evil. That set file is out of sample tested, didn't work, so scrap it. That's a bit of a funny range as well, I would say. The 1010 to 1020 range is a bit of a weird range to pick. A 10-minute range after, or yeah, I don't know quite what that range is, but why is that not running? Did I not press the button on that? Oh, you idiot. Might help if you checked the optimization button, mightn't it, you plum? Oh dear. Drawdown and hitting 8% in 30 days. Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? If you're going to trade prop, obviously. If you're not going to trade prop, it doesn't matter. And this is why I'm doing this testing so thoroughly, because I'm thinking screw prop. You know me, I'm happy with 15% drawdown on my account. I couldn't give a monkey's. 15% to me is a normal daily thing. So to have a 15% drawdown over a period of a year, I don't care. I really don't. What I do care about is paying myself regularly. That's the difficulty. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Can you tell me what those orange boxes are for? Yep, that's the market reversal alerts indicator. All in the description. Go to the website, marketstructuretrader.com. There's a link in the description to the YouTube video or the live stream you're watching now. All the indicators I use are on here. All the strategies I use and I teach are all in here. All the EAs I use are all in here. That's where you are. We're on the fundamentals page at the moment, looking at the fundamentals. Intraday sentiment today. We had a massive CAD Swiss this morning. We were talking in the Telegram group about CAD Swiss and how we should be shorting the crap out of it because 97% of people are longing it. And CAD Swiss today, my God, what a short! I've got to start paying more attention to this. I put this together to start intraday trading it, and I just haven't had a chance to do anything with it yet. But yeah, wow, big move there, wasn't it? So let's just see what's changed there. So CAD Swiss, we were 97% long. Let me just refresh that. See where we are now. I'd imagine a lot of those have dumped. Come on. Nope, still 97%. Wow. Impressive. They're holding on, aren't they? US dollar Swiss, New Zealand dollar CAD is still a massive 92% shorts. Again, I've got the EA set up ready to go on New Zealand dollar CAD. But I'm trying to get in short, and all we've done this morning is pushed. So anyway. Right, so we're inside range on the M15 on the NASDAQ at the moment. Trying something different following this morning's live. Yeah, that's it. That's what you got to do. Do stuff different. That's how people make money. The people that do the same thing over and over again are the ones that don't make money. Right, so we'll watch that unfold. I've moved my charts around, haven't I? So I've got an hourly up as well as an M5 at the moment because I just wanted a bigger picture chart next to the smaller picture chart just to help explain stuff. So I'm clicking the wrong buttons down here. So we've got some ADRs today. Aussie dollar Swiss came off of ADR beautifully. So we pushed down. We got the reversal alert there. Bit of a big reversal alert this morning. Just because of the sheer speed of this move. Swiss franc was on fire today. So all the ADRs today are all Swiss franc apart from the pound odd. So we've got a nice bounce straight off of ADR between ADR and ADR 125. Reversal alert long. We're just retesting. So right now you're on the retest of the 5-minute reversal alert, looking for that W reversal. Euro Swiss. Again, I'm long on this one. We had a kind of an uneven W stop hunt, but what I would be more interested in is that. So this isn't really a propulsion gap because there's not much of it's a bit of an accumulation before it. M15 is probably a bit clearer. Yeah. See, there's no propulsion gap. We just basically came off of ADR, got the reversal alert. So this is the retest now. The reversal alert, so looking for that push up. I'm in long on that one. New Zealand dollar Swiss, beautiful bounce off of ADR, but unfortunately you can see the M15 reversal alert was just too big. It came down far too fast. M5, you could have caught it a bit better, but not great, but it still worked very nicely. So straight off of ADR and a bounce. And look at the propulsion gap bounce as well. If you class all this as an accumulation break, there's the retest, add. But we're not going anywhere much at the moment. So that was a good one. Pound odd, I put this one in the group this morning. I'm not on it because I'm obviously short pound New Zealand at the moment. And this was another pound odd and pound New Zealand are very similar. So I didn't want to get into this one. But we're up at 125. So we come off of 125 ADR this morning. We haven't had the reversal alert yet because of the strength of that move from 100 ADR to 125. So that's sitting there accumulating at the moment. So looks pretty good potentially for that short as well on that one. Oh, look at the NASDAQ. It's horrible this morning. Look, this afternoon. Inside bar after inside bar after inside bar. We're just meh. So again, this is good. That's your M5 opening range. So you've had a false break. You're not stopped out on it yet if you've gone with opposite side stops, but yeah, not bad. Saves your entry, doesn't it? Getting in later. That's just starting to roll over now as well. So we've got it's a little, you can't really see it. Oh, wrong one. That clearly, but there is divergence here as well on M5. So this is, it's being held back at the moment. There's no divergence there, but there is on this M pattern here potentially. So break of this low gives you your reversal alert short. So that might be a good entry. But at the moment, we're just accumulating up at 125 ADR. Again, I'm not quite sure on the pound. We've had a very strong pound this morning off the back of the news, which has obviously pushed it up. So the news that came in this morning was the claimant counts being as expected, and they seem to have had a bit of a rally off the pound on that. But I don't see that really as a reason to rally the pound particularly. But so there's your ADRs, all played out fairly well, but quite tricky to get into today just because of the speed of them. You know, the speed they came down and the bounce was quite hard to get in because by the time you got the reversal alert, you'd missed like almost half an ADR there. It's 30 pips, half an ADR on this one. So quite tricky, but they all worked. They're all in profit. So if you had break evens on them, you're sitting pretty at the moment. We've also got some RSIs to look at this afternoon as well. So no 4 hours. This is the RSI dashboard. This side I've got set up to monitor 4 hours from 3070 to 8020. This side is monitoring 1 hour RSI extensions. So we've got a few RSI extensions. Breaking out to the upside on the NASDAQ. So we're just attempting a new high. So I'm long one NASDAQ. Stop opposite side of range. This is one of the DAX set files that I've just adapted to test on the NASDAQ. So I'm just testing. Just want to see this unfold. So yeah, RSIs. We've got CAD Swiss. So that's very nicely extended CAD Swiss down there, and we're down at support at the moment, which has given a nice little bounce. It's a horrible mess though. Look at CAD Swiss. This is partly due to the news on the Canadian dollar, the CPI. Nice little pop there out the top of the NASDAQ. Just had a little, quite an aggressive little pop out the top there. So either they just grabbed a load of liquidity there and they're going to reverse it, or we're actually, buyers have just run the buyers have just run the sellers over and the sellers have all just puked. So we'll see if we get a move out the top. I would suspect we're probably more likely to get a pullback on this. So we've got propulsion gap forming here to potentially help push. So yeah, so CAD Swiss, you can see it's a not very nice looking candlesticks at the moment. We're really wicky. This thing's a little bit confused at the minute down here, but we are very nicely extended. No real buying pressure at all though. So your bias on the CAD Swiss is range bound. Sentiment is short. So we want to be looking for shorts rather than longs on it. So I don't really like that down here at the moment. I'd rather be shorting it. So Not particularly good one there. Euro odd. So Euro odd, we just had a reversal alert short. RSI extended to the upside. Bias on the Euro odd is range bound, slight bias to the long. We've got COT really long. We've got sentiment long. So you want to be looking for longs on this one. Again, it's pushed to the upside. So if you're going to take an ADR reversal, an RSI reversal and M5, there's your entry. So there's your reversal alert and your retest. There's your M pattern short. But it is counter trend, counter bias, counter everything. So be careful with this one. As you can see, we've had the accumulation at the beginning of London. There's your break. Propulsion gap's gone in, retested it. So the buyers are adding into their positions here with a potential to move up. But we're running into limit orders at the highs, which is driving it back down. So we're battling basically here. Someone's going to win, but right now, difficult one, isn't it? So not particularly great. Euro CAD, again, nice strong push up on Euro CAD. ADR, so RSI extension to the upside. So looking for that pullback off of RSI extension, which we've had. You can see we've got wicks to the upside. Very, very nice rejection at the highs, but no reversal alert on this. It's just a choppy mess at the minute. So again, not something particularly interesting, I don't think. So I was just checking the settings on that. So yeah, not very great, is it? That one either. Euro CAD bias is range bound, as I say. And the other ones we've got are pound odd and US dollar Swiss at the moment. So pound odd, we've looked at this one already. This is an ADR hit up at the highs, and it's also extended on RSI to the upside. Again, lovely wicks up at ADR and resistance. So this is just limit order triggers here. So all that's happening is we're pushing up. We've reached our extension of ADR. Market's absolutely exhausted. And we've got everybody that has limit order triggers set at the highs, triggering their limit orders, pushing price down. Attempting again, adding limits. So it's just basically bouncing off of resistance where the limit orders are triggering. The buyers, however, are also battling back. So we've got basically just a combat ground going on at the moment, one way or the other. But RSI is extended, got very nice, strong propulsion move up. So any kind of pullback potentially could go long. But looking at the bias on the pound odd, again, it's one of those range bound, no COT, no retail sentiment. The fundamentals are mixed, which is why I'm on pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand is a good sell at the moment from a COT perspective and fundamentals. So I'm much more happy being short pound New Zealand than I would on the pound odd, but it's just chop at the minute. And US dollar Swiss, it's just lit up even more. So US dollar Swiss, massive move to the downside on that at the moment. Again, we're coming back down towards support. So potentially we could get a bounce off of here. But, you know, this Swiss franc is just schizophrenic at the moment, isn't it? Really is. So you're extended on RSI to the downside. Nice pop on the NASDAQ there at the top. So I'm long 2. Look at the spread on that. What is that? Wow. ECB potentially talking about a quarter rate hike. That's interesting. Euro pound just hit ADR as well. I was wondering why I suddenly got into drawdown. Look at my drawdown. I was like, why am I suddenly gone into loads of drawdown? So the ECB rate hike of 0.25%. That's going to be negative euro. The euro hasn't caught up yet. So that's I don't know who said that. I wish they would publish their sources when this sort of news comes out. It really depends who said that. According to hey, thank you very much. Someone's listening, aren't they? According to officials with knowledge of discussions asking not to be identified because talks on the matter are confidential. Right, okay, well, get ready for a spike. And complete retracement. That. How woolly is that? According to officials with knowledge of discussions asking not to be identified because everything's confidential. So it's a leak potentially by someone doing something that might know something somewhere in the ECB, going against the fact that Lagarde has been saying nothing but, oh my God, we've got at least 1.5% to go for the next year. So basically, this is a complete U-turn on Lagarde's talk. So take that with a pinch of salt. So you got an ADR hit now. An ADR hit on Euro Pound and Euro Swiss, both hit to the downside. That's obviously already hit to the downside. I'm along on that already. There you go. This is already retracing. Look, might be a nice buy button there. Nicely extended Euro Pound. That's not real news. That's a rumor. Careful with that one. My other platform is just frozen on me. One sec. Forex. God, you're so annoying. Yeah, so nice push on the NAS still. I just want to see if I can get 0.25% off of this morning. This afternoon even. So we'll watch that one. But yeah, I like that long. You just bank that move just in case. What, on the NASDAQ? Yeah, I'm going to reduce risk on it, but I'm not. I'm not going to go too tight on that. That's a big move. We've got plenty of room to go yet, so I'm not. Don't forget, this is the US market. This is nothing to do with Europe, but obviously all the indices are interlinked. So you're going to find obviously the DAX. Morning. The DAX going mental. So obviously this is the reason for this is the inverse. So the indices are always inverse to the currency. So euro tanks, DAX flies. US dollar tanks, NASDAQ flies. So if you look at the US dollar, whoops, that'll be tanking because NASDAQ's flying. So it's all inverse. So yeah, the other thing we've got is the US dollar Swiss, which I was looking at before that news suddenly appeared. So US dollar Swiss, obviously, we're coming down into potential support area there. We're extended there, but US dollar Swiss is erratic, very, very erratic at the moment. So it's quite tricky to take. But you can see obviously any RSI extensions you take on this are good. Yeah. So, but where the problem with this instrument at the moment is where on earth do you go? So you've got to get in. I would get yourself as to a break-even point really, and get out. It's not something I really want to position trade at the moment. It's too sketchy. Look at it on the 4 hour. I mean, it's just a mess. It's very, very difficult to trade US dollar Swiss at the minute. Nice little push there. Obviously, that's because the Swiss franc will be coming down with the euro. So everything Swiss will be coming down because the euro is having a spike to the downside. So weird, very weird. Insider trading for the win. What? Common. What are you using for the blue shaded support resistance bars extending your chart? That's called the WRB. This is an indicator called WRB, or wide range bar, which was created by somebody many years ago. So wide range bar theory is to do with accumulation breakouts. So when you have price accumulating and then a sudden movement, fast movement, that indicates where the banks and institutions have moved price. So when the banks and institutions move price, it's in their interest, if they've moved price to the upside, to continue that move. So if you push and then you pull back into these wide range bars, propulsion gaps, propulsion candles, fair value gaps, as other people call them, it's the same thing. But the WRB was invented many years ago. Not invented. It's just it's a propulsion candle. It's not invented. It's just a large, fast move. But all that does is highlight these. So when price pulls back into them, like here, it's a prime example. Yeah, accumulation, break, which breaks out at the top of the accumulation. Market is long, price pulls back, banks and institutions add more to their long positions and drive price higher. So they're good for spotting pullbacks. They're also good for identifying areas that price will be attracted to. So price is attracted to propulsion gaps. Yeah, pointing case right now. This is now creating a propulsion gap. This is going to become a propulsion gap. So NASDAQ is just painting a propulsion gap. So when this candle closes here in 50 seconds, this will be shaded in blue, because this is an accumulation break, propulsion gap. So as the market has put its opening cash balance in and broken long speculatively, the banks and institutions have long positions on. If we pull back into this area, it's in their interest to drive price higher because they are long. They don't want price to go back down because it means they lose money. So they push the price higher. So if price comes back and retests this area, that's a good area to enter along. And basically all you're doing is, if you think about it, drawing what? Market structure. Market structure is low, high, lower high, higher high, lower high, higher high. The lower highs tend to be pullbacks, and quite often you'll find they will be into things like propulsion gaps. There you go. So there's your propulsion gap formed. It's part of 3 candles. Candle 1 is part of the accumulation. Candle 2 is the propulsion move. Candle 3 has not come back and retested that high. Yeah, so this whole area here is left with just one-sided positions in longs. So there's people caught the wrong side in here, which will want to come back and exit their positions. And when I say people, I mean institutions, banks will be caught wrong-sided here. They have the power to drive price back to this area. And what they will do is take a break-even trade. And then as soon as they take their break-even trades, they become buyers because they've sold. So to get out of those trades, they become buyers. That adds to the move up, which then with the people that started the move adding to their positions as well, drives price higher. That's the theory behind the wide range bar. The indicator you can get on the website, it's in the other indicators and template page here. So all of my other indicators are in there, and it's called gap indicator. It's called WRB. And if you want to read up about those, I never find it there. It's this website. It's called thestrategylab.com. This is the guy that came up with the theory behind wide range bars. Good luck finding anything. As you can see, it was built back in the 80s when Tinternet was really young. No, it was actually built in 2002 when Tinternet was really young. But yeah, so if you want to learn about wide range bars and strategy and theory, it's all in here. But this website is a mess. So what you need to know is what I just explained in a nutshell. But it's also covered in my bootcamp. If you go onto the website and go to the bootcamp, on day 3, I explain about those on day 3 as well. So that's it for RSI extensions. I got in long on Euro Swiss on the RSI extension to the downside. So I'm long Euro Swiss because we got extended here at ADR. So we hit ADR and we were extended on RSI. So I took the 5-minute reversal alert on that one. Whoops, wrong one. Again, wasn't a very pretty one this morning. Propulsion gap, accumulation, break, propulsion, add, push. Obviously, this doesn't work all the time. As you can see, it gets run over a lot as well. Yeah. You got to think when you're looking at this indicator. Yeah. This is a really good example. Accumulation, break, push back up, add. All right, we give up. That's basically what's happening. So the other institutions and banks are trying to drive price the other way, not succeeding, and basically puking, giving up, getting out. Because whoever started this move has more money than the guys trying to go back the other way. That's literally how the market works. There's a line, there's a load of people pumping money that way, there's a load of people pumping money that way. If there's more money pumping that way, price moves down. If there's more money pumping that way, price moves up. That's how a market works. And all this is showing you is where those big institutional orders are being placed. Whether they're going to hold or not, yeah, we don't know. Because it all depends whether, when we get back here, whether there's enough money to do that. If there's not, it's going to get run over. And your job is to decide whether that's going to hold or not. Big rejection on the NAS going in. So we're running into that at the minute, potentially. But long way to go. So the next resistance is 175 ADR. And then failing that, obviously, way off. So there's plenty of room to the upside today. So those moves all seem to have undone themselves. All coming, well, Euro Swiss is coming back to break even. Oil's pushing nicely. Again, well, I say it's pushing nicely. It's not really going anywhere, is it? But Euro Pound is the only one that's really stuck at the minute down here. So ECB policymakers are starting to consider a slower pace of interest rate hikes than President Christine Lagarde indicated in December. So this is what I was saying. Lagarde has done nothing but talk up 0.5 interest rate hikes. She's never mentioned 0.25s. So I'm wondering who this has come from and where, and whether or not Lagarde is aware of it. Because if she isn't, she'll certainly be talking about it. According to officials with knowledge of their discussions. I'm not being funny, but this sounds like market manipulation to me all over. But While the 50 basis point hike step in February that she signaled remains likely, so we are still looking at a 50 in February. The prospect of smaller point increases at the following meeting in March is gaining support, asking not to be identified because the talks are a matter of confidence. This is somebody sitting around a table speculating. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, but we'll see. We need to get first of all, we need to get the March out of the way first, don't we? Brian, don't stir the pot. Which pot? Not stirring any pots. I don't stir pots. So that's our gap. So if you want to be safe, so there's many ways to use these. So euro pound, for example, long. An obvious thing to use these for is targets. Yeah, we know that price is attracted to them like a magnet. You can see this on the Nasdaq. Yeah, so look at all the propulsion gaps. Yeah. Then we had one put in there. We haven't tested that one yet. This one, all of these, all traded into. That one there, pushed down, straight back into it. Here, tested. Came down, that one there, tested, rejected. Yeah, so we know these act like magnets. So we're either going to push now and just go, and then we'll come back here later, or we're going to come straight down and test it and then bounce out of it. Those are the two scenarios that we have. 125 on euro pound, so we are pushing down quite hard on that euro at the minute. So if you want to be safe now with your stops, so the other way you can use these, obviously, as well as targets, is you can use them for stop positioning. So I'm long now on the Nasdaq. So a pretty safe place to put my stops now is somewhere around there, underneath this propulsion gap. Because if the buyers that caused this move are going to be in control today, we shouldn't manage to get through that because they should be adding to their positions here. So we should be safe under here. So you can now reduce your risk right down. So I've got risk on these two positions now here instead of all the way down here. So if this trade now fails and we come back into the opening range, I've got tiny micro loss. That's all I'm going to take. Don't stir the pot with a wide range bar. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm pleading ignorance. I'm not stirring the pot. All I'm doing is pointing out the fact that people recycle things on the internet. And there are very well-known people that use similar strategies to the wide range bar. That's all I'm saying. And you can tell by the age of this website that this is the guy that came up with it first. That's all I'm saying. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just mentioning the fact that other people may be using something similar to him. I'm using his original. Did you test the M15 ORB on continuous mode? Yes. So this test that the tests that I'm running at the moment. So on this test, on this one I've just done, you can see ORB add. 0 is not continuous, 1 is continuous. ORB 15 add. Can't see them because let me just widen all those columns so we can actually read them. So add, not add. So it's all been tested with, I've optimized, I've run it through the optimized to see what the difference is between the two. And all of these are testing out whether it's good or bad to use additions. So it varies, as you can see. So these are all adding, producing 80 to 90K off of a 20K drawdown. These are some adding 37K, 50K, 30K, 40K, and some not adding. you know, like I keep saying with this opening range breakout, it's horses for courses. It really is. Whether you add or not, you will still have profit. And the reason you'll have profit is because if that breakout is going to go like it is today, it's going to go. If you've added, yes, you're going to make more. But the ones you've added to that don't go, you're going to lose more. So it really is hit and miss. You are always going to have more drawdown by adding additional positions on if they don't work. And again, with this test here, I'm testing different trailing distances with different trailing starts. And as you can see, somewhere between a 60 to an 80 point trailer is optimal. I've tested from 200 to 800. 60 to 80 is optimal. Whether you choose to trail after 20, 40, 60 or whatever has very little impact. This particular test that I'm running as well is targeting percentages. So we are closing our positions out between 2 to 5% up here. That one is letting them run all the time. And as you can see, that makes 50 grand, whereas these are making varying differences. Some 30, 36 is. But obviously, if you're going to close your positions out faster, you are going to win more often, but you're going to win less money. If you let it go, you're going to catch those bigger runs. But again, no difference. The big run days, you'll miss if you have a percentage target hit set. The days where it pushes up and retraces and you make nothing on the 10% going for the big runners, you're going to win if you had a 2 to 3% target, aren't you? So again, some will work that way and some will not. This is coming down really hard, this euro. I picked the wrong day to go long on the euro, didn't I? Might have to start scaling out of this one. I'm going to start scaling out at 1 ADR anyway, which is roughly 175 today. Well, let's hope my NASDAQ makes up for the euro. It'll come back. This is a knee-jerk reaction at the minute. All they've done basically is, at the moment, it's just all they've done is undo today and double bottomed off of the limit orders there. So it's not, I'm not convinced this move is going to stick. We need some confirmation from Lagarde, basically, don't we? Until Lagarde comes out, you know, nothing that's come out here has come out of Lagarde's mouth. Until she comes out and confirms this, this is a rumor. So everybody's greedy. So we've just taken yesterday's low on EuroCAD. So again, potential, you know, if you want to fade this move, you're not really going to get a reversal a lot on this because it's come down too fast. The reversal that's going to be there. You know, but look at the propulsion. Yeah. We're going to come back here. I can guarantee it with 99.9% accuracy. We're coming back here. When we're coming back here, I don't know. It's either going to be straight away now or sometime in the next few days. NASDAQ's stalling out at the highs. Oh, look at the divergence on the Dow. Look. So NASDAQ, Dow Jones. That is very, very unusual divergence. So either the Dow is wrong and that thing is going to fly, or the NASDAQ is wrong and it's going to tank. I would suggest that the Dow is lagging today because we've just had a reversal alert on the Dow. So that's just gone bullish, which would tell me that the NASDAQ is probably going to pump harder today as well. So we'll see. We need to watch this and see where this goes, because if this starts to come down hard, that will get dragged with it. S&P is flying with the NASDAQ. Look, so we've got two indices flying and the Dow Jones collapsing. It's a shame I haven't got the Russell. Right, Dow's coming down. So I'm just going to watch this. I might get out of this and bank this. We've got 2.5 minutes left on this candle. I'm just going to watch this candle close. So we're just testing the lows here at the minute. So we're sitting currently as an inside bar. But as you can see, we've put in an inside bar, higher high, higher low, lower high, lower low, higher high, lower high. So we are starting to contract and roll over. And obviously the fact that Dow's coming down so hard, there we go. I suspect we might be starting to pull back on the NASDAQ. Just going to wait for this candle to close. Got 1.1%. It's not a lot of profit in it, but I'd rather take it off than because I can always get back in. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move my stops up under the propulsion. There. So just going to bank something on this move. Only reason being because I've seen this coming down. You know, normally what you see is all three of these indices, as we know, in tandem. So pushing, pushing, usually see pushing. We got complete inverse on this today. Okay, so out of the NAS, out of one, it's taken one of my positions, but it's left the other one intact. It doesn't want it. All right, that's fine. Leave it. I don't care. So Dow's just coming down, really trying hard to make a new low on the session. So at the moment, this reversal alert is still valid. So we just put in a new higher low. So still potentially bullish, just a very, very deep pullback. So if the Dow now starts to rally and we get a bull candle going in, i.e. we put in a higher high, there's potential to add another position on a break of the higher on the NASDAQ there. However, we have just obviously put in lower high, lower low. So we're testing this area. S&P just doing exactly the same. This is why you only trade one or the other, not both, because virtually all the time these guys are doing the same thing. That's completely undone that movelet. So if this is a legitimate move, we should see some buying come in here. So you're looking for the first signs of strength on the DAX in this propulsion gap. Yeah, so every candle is putting in a new low and a new lower high. So as soon as you see an inside bar, that's a sign that sellers are potentially running into more buying pressure than selling pressure. And then as soon as we put in a new high, that's when potentially the buyers have taken control. So that would be a signal to go long. Let's have a quick look at the top intraday sentiment today and just see what happened. So there's no retail on the side there, there, or there. So it's only longs really today. So these are the top buys and sells of the day, basically based on retail sentiment. So CAD Swiss was a short this morning. Euro New Zealand's just hit ADR. Again, another euro drop. Yeah, up to you what you think about this move and whether or not you think this is legit. Even if it is legit, all they're saying is we're going to, think about what they're saying here. We are going to increase interest rates, which is positive euro. So what they're saying is we might not go by 50, we might go by 25. Still positive. An interest rate hike is an interest rate hike. It's a positive move for the currency. So all of these hitting ADR now potentially are good-looking long opportunities. So Euro New Zealand to the downside. That is a sell. So maybe not on that one, but yeah. So CAD Swiss was a big sell this morning. So if you'd have sold that beginning of the London session, you'd have had a nice profit. Euro US dollar was a big buy. Again, if you bought that in London, reversal alert there. Nice, big, strong push. US dollar Swiss was a big sell. Canned. Euro CAD was a big buy. That might be a bit difficult because of the news today, but had a little bit of a push. Obviously, this is all changed. Look at those wicks. So yeah, the Euro CAD, probably not the best thing to be trading the CAD ahead of the news. Same with the New Zealand CAD, really. Had news today, so chop. Yeah, all the other sentiments today played out beautifully. So again, with all of these, the way to use this sentiment is, if you've got a strong sentiment, a +2 or a -2, those are your best intradays. So just get intraday and wait for it to start moving in that direction and jump on board. Euro Swiss was the Euro Swiss? Sorry, CAD Swiss. So how you would have traded that is basically just waiting for a bearish move. So London opened. We had a big bearish engulfing go in there. you could have taken bearish engulfing there with a stop. I don't know, wherever you want to put a stop. Above that high would be the obvious spot. That's a previous day's low, isn't it? Oh, yes, yesterday's low. Wouldn't really use that line, to be honest, but got an M pattern there. So you'd have had a reverse. That's middle range, so you probably wouldn't have had a reversal alert there, but short. Then you had a double top, bearish move there. So there's a 3-bar reversal, push, pause, pull, 3-bar reversal, short. And these are obviously scalp. So this is the whole purpose of this intraday sentiment section of the website, is to give you intraday scalps, in, out, fast, done. Not holding. Going to test the 15-minute opening range on the S&P ladder. Might be that it's better than it worked on the 5-minute. Do you know what? I've had no testing at all done yet on the S&P. I just haven't bothered with it. Reason I haven't bothered with it is because obviously it's the same as the NASDAQ. So the thing I like about the NASDAQ is the speed and volatility on the NASDAQ tends to be bigger than the S&P. So if you look at the ranges, on the S&P, you've got an ADR of 66. On the NASDAQ, you've got an ADR of 252. So while the price action candlesticks look the same, very similar, the actual movement is much, much larger on the NASDAQ. So if you're going to trade one of these two, this is, for me, the one that you will get the better results out of. Because the price action's the same, look. Yeah, you're getting not exactly, but I mean, near as damn it, look. It's the same thing. So you're better off, I think, using the NAS because the volatility on the NAS is better. But saying that, volatility always isn't a good thing, is it? Because you're going to get bigger wicks. So you're going to need to be spread wider with your stops potentially. So you might get tighter. But again, these are things to test. Go and test it. Get a set file that works amazingly well on the NASDAQ, of which there's some already published on the blog post with the EA, or make your own, whichever. And then stick that set file over in the S&P. But you're going to have to change it dramatically. Stops, the trailers, everything's going to have to change dramatically because it does, a quarter of the movement of the NASDAQ. So everything's going to need to be reduced by a factor of 4 and retest it. ADR on Euro odd. So just taking out the Asian lows and tap straight into yesterday's low. Again, good long opportunity there, Euro odd. This is a double-ended stop huntler. So anybody from last week, from last Thursday onwards, where the news was, this is the unemployment figures from the US. Anybody that entered short, anywhere in here, yesterday, unlikely they would. Anybody that got in this morning, liquidated. Anybody that longed it from here was liquidated yesterday, but anybody that longed it yesterday after taking that double bottom has just been liquidated. Yeah, so they've taken out all the liquidity from the last 3 days. Gone. Clear decks, move back into propulsion gap, and then they can decide which way to go from there, can't they? So this is, again, dependent on how you feel about this news, whether or not it's going to happen or not. It's a lovely fade opportunity there on all these euros. You can take your pick on any of them, really. So that propulsion gap didn't hold at the moment. So sellers are firmly in control. Obviously, this is all being affected by this. So Euro CAD ADR all the euros hit ADR. Again, anybody that longed it there, so anybody that longed that fib retracement is dead. And don't forget, yesterday we put in an inside bar. So what do a lot of people do on inside bars? Take a breakout of the outside bar. Yeah. So anybody that took the inside bar breakout this morning had their stop there or there, they're dead. Anybody that is now taking the outside bar breakout short has their stop here. And that propulsion gap will take those out. And thinking like a bank, think what they're doing. They're hunting for orders. They're hunting for liquidity to fill for their customers. They know where it all is. There's a load of it sitting here as well. So good opportunity to fade that. You can't take a reversal alert on it because it's halfway into the move. You know, scalping. If you're going to scalp with a reversal alert indicator, you want to be down here, really, don't you? That's 35 pips, so that's just over a quarter of an ADR. I like all these, but I'm long already. Euro, pound, and euro. What else? The other euro? Swiss. Nasdaq's back in the opening ranges, or just about to close back in the opening ranges. It's got 1.5 minutes on this candle. So I'll be putting new pendings on here. US dollar will be pushing hard at the moment. Again, beautiful example. Accumulation, break, retest, add, bounce. $150 on euro pound. Again, that accumulation, break. Yeah, buyers sitting here long, adding, taking off. 20,000? Bloody hell, that's going to take a long time. What's this? What did I call this one? 4, didn't I? 20,480. That's going to be a big result. What's that? 100 hours. I'll leave that running overnight. I've got 3 tests running at the same time, so I'm going to get an awful lot of this will speed up when I shut the other 2 tests down. I've got 2 other tests running 1,600 and 6,000 combinations at the same time, so they'll all slow. This will speed up when the others have shut. So there's 200 there. 164 out of those 200 profitable. So I'm testing a lot of different variations there, though. So we will find a lot of those probably won't work. Okay, so we're back in the initial 15-minute opening range now. So I'm looking basically either for this to be market structure pullback, and then we'll go back long again and try and attempt the highs, or we're just going to go into rotation, and rotation can obviously go either way. So it wouldn't surprise me if we came back and sort of retested Globex lows down here. Actually, Globex lows are down here. No, yeah, Globex lows are here. So If that's going to happen, then obviously I'm going to get in on that break there, and then I'll get in on there and see what happens down here. But I'd much rather see market structure going long and retest those highs, because it means I get a breakout at the top. Oh, God. This is why you need to pay attention to fundamentals, isn't it? Yeah. Technically, this is a lovely RSI extension long, but some big mouth from the ECB just ruined it. And it's 29. I'm not going to get in on a second position on this either, because it's 29 pips is half an ADR, and I'm scaling into positions half an ADR apart. So even if we get a reverse alert right at the top of that M5, that's still only 225. So I'm not going to take a second entry on this. I'll wait. If it pushes down further, I'll get in tighter, which will be better. But same with the Euro Swiss. The reverse alert is back where I initially got in today. NASDAQ is finding a little bit of support. Anybody got any other pairs they want to have a look at while I'm on? Kind of looked at everything this morning, but everything that's moved today. All these ADRs and that, obviously, most of these have unfolded either towards the session, the end of the London session, which I put in the group anyway, or while we've been on. So there's lots of opportunities for fading these euro moves down. And obviously the RSIs, still not many today, but there's a few. And 4-hour RSI extensions, still nothing. Closest we've got on the 4-hour is pound CAD and euro CAD. So those are potentials, euro CAD and pound CAD. In fact, euro CAD, I think, is probably, oh no, it's euro CAD is extended to the upside. Of course it is. And pound CAD is extended to the upside as well. Not quite. They're not going to get there, are they? Especially not now the euro CAD. Extensions to the downside. We've got CAD Swiss and CAD Yen potentially. It's ticked up. CAD Yen is already gone. US dollar Swiss. No, nothing getting close. It's tough start to January. Very tough. So I'm long one more NAS. So again, big candle here. Inside bar. So looking basically for a higher low, higher high on this next candle, just to confirm that we've got more buyers on side. Then we need to break through this propulsion gap. If we can break through that propulsion gap, we've got a chance at running the highs today. If not, I'll be out. To 4. I've got some other set files that I'm running tests on at the moment. So these are the settings that I'm running at the moment on the ORB EA. So that's that one that I'm running on this machine, which is 20,000 variations. I'm running, that one's completed. That one's completed. I'm running 2 others as well. The difference between them is this one is what was this one testing? This was testing. What was this testing? Can't remember what this one was testing. It's testing something different anyway. Something different to that one. What the hell was I testing on this? Trailing stop distance. And that one is testing using a break even or not. And then this one is testing whether or not it's better to take profit or not. So this is testing whether or not a risk reward on the day is worth considering. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different tests running today, all on 15-minute opening ranges, just to see, find a decent set file to use for those, and then I'll retest the whole lot on the NASDAQ as well when I've got those results, and we'll get some more published. Pound New Zealand's come back into profit. Oh, just the most painful thing in the world, isn't it? Pound New Zealand. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Look at the ADR, and you can see it's very rare you see a pair. You look at a pair, and you know when you got an ADR high and an ADR low, and you can literally see the thing is just mucking around within its ADR. There is no direction on this thing at all. It's ever so slightly bearish, but it's just hovering within its ADR ranges, not doing anything. So every time it gets up towards these highs, ADR hits to the highs, RSI extensions to the highs, short it. Every time it gets down to these lows, well, actually, I'd rather be shorting it from the highs, but you could obviously long it. But I reckon at some point this is going to go. So NASDAQ's got 30 seconds left on this candle. We're painting an inside bar on an inside bar, so we're not going anywhere. So watch what happens in this last 30 seconds, because quite often you'll see price painting one thing, and then literally within 10 or 15 seconds before the 5-minute candle closes, you get a completely different picture. Which is why it's important to wait until candle close if you're going to use candlesticks. There you go. So a minute ago, with 30 seconds to go, that looked pretty bearish, didn't it? Now it looks massively bullish. Inside bar, bull candle. Again, another inside bar. Not going anywhere at the minute, are we? So if you look at the last 15 minutes, we've done nothing but make new highs. Higher lows. But we've also done nothing but make lower highs. So we are, if you look on the 1-minute chart on the NASDAQ, we are contracting into a symmetrical triangle pattern. Which is going to break, I would say, within the next 2 to 3 minutes. Take your pick. wonder if that is a symmetrical triangle. No. Last one was back there, look. Bullish symmetrical triangle break. Two and a half minutes. 125 on Euro Swiss. I might get into another position on Euro Swiss today. Still no more news. Euro New Zealand 125 ADR. Good wicks. All looking bullish at the minute. Can't contract anymore. We have run out of room. Euro odd 125, so the euro's still coming down hard. But that DAX is flying at the minute. So when you get such a contraction, you tend to get a very violent move. So I'd be expecting a propulsion candle to come in either direction in the next couple of minutes. So we get a nice big bull candle, followed probably by another big bull candle or bear candle, whichever way it wants to break. We don't never know which way it's going to break out of a triangle. We've got 1 minute until the hourly candle close as well. Of course, the other thing you can get from a symmetrical triangle is a range. Doesn't have to break, obviously, but it will obviously have to break out of the triangle, but it can break out and flip-flop. Pound US dollar. So we've got the RSI alerts, just hourly candles in now. So this is probably the propulsion move starting on the first minute of the hourly candle. Let's see if we can get a move in either direction. So pound US dollar. So your RSIs have all changed. Pound US dollar now. Just extended at that high. And we've got Euro Swiss and Euro Pound are the only two extensions. Happen to be the ones that I'm on. Thank you, whoever you are in the ECB. So that's not quite an entry either. What I could do with down here is a little bit of an accumulation and another final push, and that'll give me a reversal alert there to take a second entry and bring that average back. Same as I've got here now. So this is a 30. Now we're up to 33. So if we get a nice tight reversal alert here, nice big bull candle that closes somewhere around here, I'll be in a second position long. Dow set also doing fine today. Yeah. So if you've got the opening range breakout EA and you took the Dow opening range today, you would have been in, depending on whether you got in on the 5 or the 15, you would have either been in somewhere around there, or you'd have been in somewhere around there short. So there's the opening range breakout, 15-minute opening range, 5-minute opening range break. So obviously just inverse of what I played this morning, basically. But the Dow is just, yeah. Remember what I said when we were here, yeah? One of these is wrong. So either the Dow was going to pop, or the Dow was going to make new lows and drag the NASDAQ with it. You can never tell. When you've got such a massive inverse divergence happening with two indices, one of them is always wrong. You just never know which it is. Unfortunately, you can't tell. Dow was in charge today, so it dragged the NAS with it. But you know, the NASDAQ still has not made a new low. So look at what we've got happening now down here. So we've pushed down back into our initial opening range on the NASDAQ. We've put an inside bar, we've put an inside bar, we've put an inside bar, and now we've put in an outside bar. Absolutely no clue. On the Dow, what we've done is an inside bar followed by a bear bar, followed by a bear bar, followed by a double bottom. So this is, think about this, is screeching to a halt, potentially about to pop. This thing can't make a new low, potentially about to pop. Big propulsion target there. So this is the propulsion. So when you're using WRB's wide range bars, and it's all explained on this website, but good luck finding it. But to cut a long story short, to cut a very complicated long website short, you don't pay attention to every wide range bar. The wide range bars that are important are the ones that break a level. Accumulation breaks. This is the break. This is not. This is an accumulation. This is within the accumulation. So that is not as important as that. That is much more important. This is where the sellers really took control of this move. They started the move with a propulsion, and then they continued the move. That's the important one. That's where we're more likely to test. Less likely to test that. And that's more likely to bounce. But if you think about it think about it like a war, a World War I trench. You start fighting, you gain ground, you put a new trench in. You gain ground, you put a new trench in. If the enemy pushes you back, you fall back into that trench. Yeah. So this is your army lining up short. This is where your troops are for potential reversals. But this is the most important, because this is the one that actually broke that low. That's your breakout. And think about breakouts. Yeah. If you didn't have this on the chart, right, and you're a breakout trader, or you're trying to get in on a breakout, what do? As soon as you see a breakout, you draw a line where the breakout happened. And if you're going to get in on a retest of the breakout, you're getting in on a retest of the support, which becomes resistance, aren't you? Just so happens that the propulsion candles, the propulsion gaps, the wide range bars are always going to coincide with that. So that's why we use them as potential bounce points. And obviously, it's either going to be a breakout that works or a breakout that fails. We don't know. No one ever knows that until we get there, do we? We've got 4 minutes left on this candle. So the DAX didn't manage to make the Dow, sorry, didn't manage to make a new low. So if we get a bull candle here, after putting in a triple bottom, I would say we have properly run out of sellers on the Dow. In which case, that would argue that we're probably going to go high on the NAS, but we need this candle to paint and see what happens. Looks like RSI divergence on Euro Swiss M15. Yep. At the moment, So it's bullish divergence. You'll quite often find this though. Divergence very often appears at ADR. It's very common. Reason being is because this is when this fails, when the ADR bounce fails, what that tells you is that this is a profit take move on a continuation. And because profit take moves are never going to have the same strength or volume as the initial move, the RSI will always push faster and harder on a profit take than it will on a move. See how this move started here, and it took absolutely ages to get down to that extension. But the time it took to bounce back up to where it started was that. So it's the difference between strength move, profit take is always smaller. So because of that, if it pushes down again, which is going to take longer, you're always going to get a divergence form. Most of the time, not always. I'm hedged on the NASDAQ now. I've got short on that 15-minute range. And I've got a buy. So can't really do a lot with that. So what I will do is when I get back to break even on that, I will just probably close out in the middle and just take a loss on it. Oil's pulling back. So again, potential for an entry here, but we have just double topped. It was a risky trade, this oil this morning. Because we're quite extended where I got in. I was anticipating basically a run on the highs, which is exactly what we've got. So I'm aiming for this. So I'm hoping for a 150 ADR move today, but I don't think I'm going to get it. So probably tomorrow. If it goes, it might just come back. So in which case, what I'm going to do is just cover these. It's a risky one, so I don't really want to risk going into drawdown on it. I'm not trying to position trade this. This is a bit of a scalp. So okay, so we got that new low on the Dow. So we're now back in sync. Look. So you'll probably find these will now start to move in tandem. Gold is accumulating something. Yeah, stuck. So again, think about what I just said about the battleground. Yeah, accumulation break. So we know we've got buyers here. Accumulation break. We know we've got sellers here. So the buyers are trying to push up into there. The sellers are pushing them down. The sellers are trying to push into there. The buyers are pushing them back. Accumulation. So we've got equal strength on either side at the moment. Doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form to understand what's going on, because it still doesn't. This is why I keep saying, people that have been in here for a while will hear me say it a lot. Your odds are 50-50 regardless. Yeah, we know what's happening under the hood. What we don't know, what this doesn't tell us, is who's going to win the battle. That's your decision to make. So if you think the sellers are going to win, take a breakout short with a stop above the high. If you think the buyers are going to win, take a breakout long with a stop below the low. One of those two things is going to happen with 100% certainty. Which of them it's going to be is your job. And all your job is to do is to manage the risk when you enter it. Can't decide where to go? I've got an EA that can help you with that. Stick the opening range breakout EA on this chart and do that. No, it's going to break one way or the other. Nasdaq's coming down, so I'm going to get stopped out of my buy there. I'm in short. I'm going to enter a second short on the breakout of the 15-minute opening range. So we can see if we can get a run out the bottom. Flip a coin. Exactly, evil. That's, I've done it many times, haven't I? In here, flip a coin. Not flip a coin, but you know, pick up. Just I'd go long on it, to be honest, right now. And it's obvious why I would go long. Hopefully, the clue's in the name. Market structure trader. Market structure at the moment is bullish. So we're going to carry on with market structure. You're going to put in a new high. Propulsion gap. Accumulation break. Retest. Short. All these are buffer zones. Yes, just this is why intraday trading is so difficult, because you will constantly get this all day, and eventually you'll get a move that will do that. There'll be one move in the day that will make a daily candle be either that, or that. Yeah, there'll be one big strong move that will decide whether it's bullish, bearish, or it's not, a rotation day. Yeah, the rest of the time during the day, you're just going to get smashed to pieces between these huge orders going into the market. And there's a guy that keeps DMing me. Doesn't come in the live rooms. And he literally uses wide range bars in the market reverse alert indicator. So what he does is he marks the wide range bars on his chart on 5 minute. So he'll have a zone down there. I know he will right now. Yeah, and then he flicks down to 1 minute chart. And he waits for the reversal alerts inside those higher time frame wide range bar propulsion gaps. So he would have taken a short there. Whoops. He'd have taken a short on that reversal alert there out of that wide range bar. And he'd be in profit down here. And he'll be waiting until we get down into there to take a reversal alert down there as well, because those are the 5 minute ones. Again, multi-time frame analysis. My EA has just alerted me to something. Pound US dollar, I've just gone short. So GU short. So hourly RSI extension. And we just had the reversal alert. So I've just entered short pound US dollar. Just going to post that in the group. I just want to post the bias on it as well. Pound US dollar there. So danger today is we're just going to sit in rotation and flip flop. How's this euro doing? Okay, so we've stalled out on euro Swiss. So we just basically put in a new high. So we're starting to roll. So this is the first bullish candle we've had on M5, apart from that one there, since the rumor came out about the 0.25% increase. Euro pound, still struggling a little bit down there. Euro CAD, Euro odd, 125 ADR. That's starting to retrace a little bit. New Zealand, US. So they're all starting to go. So you got potential reversal there, reversal alert, at least back up into that propulsion. All these euros, if you go up to the higher time frame, up to the hourlies, yeah, what you're seeing painting now is a propulsion gap, a big one there. Yeah. So this candle, this hourly candle, if this hourly candle does not close all the way back up to there, yeah, you're going to get a big propulsion gap, which means it could well trade down before it comes back and retests that area. You look at it on the lower time frame, obviously you'll see where the propulsion move started. There. Someone knew about this. Look at those wicks. Someone somewhere knew about this before the news hit. We suddenly started selling hard into this. Look there. We were very, very bullish throughout the entire London session, and then they started selling the crap out of it. Someone somewhere always knows the news before we do, and they're the people that make the money, and they work in the banks. I would say long as well. Yeah, I was out on the gold. But with that, you still need to press the button. So better the EA, as it removes the indecision on the last seconds. Exactly. This is why I use EAs to semi-automate stuff, because it means I don't have to press the button. Half the problem, and this is, everybody gets the same thing, this paralysis by analysis. You analyze something so much that you talk yourself out of the trade. So, gold, what we're looking at gold. Not a clue where to go. If an EA does it, you're fine. Somebody's just posted in the group a meme. Have I got this right? The staff which work and support the ECB, who have dismally failed to remotely get any of their forecasts right, have the hump with the leadership who decide monetary policy based on those crappy forecasts. Yeah. It's someone in the ECB. This is the thing, whenever you see news like that, when I read that news, didn't I? The first thing I said was, who's said that? And that's the most important thing. Yeah, you get a bit of news coming out. Where's it come from? I could publish a bit of news that the Fed has just decided to put the interest rates up by 1% next week. Yeah. If I had any credibility and that goes red on there, the US dollar will go through the roof. I haven't got a clue, obviously. It's so important when you get this, you know where it's come from. If this had come out and it had been coming from Lagarde's mouth, I would be like, crap, get out of my euro pound positions. Sharpish. Hasn't come out of Lagarde's mouth. If it does come out of Lagarde's mouth, the euro is going to tank even more, and I will be getting out of those positions with a loss. What can I do? Yeah. Fundamentals, again, fundamentals. If fundamentals change when you're in a position, there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to sit there and take it. Possible mean reversion on EU. Yeah. So all these euro pairs, EU I'd say is probably not the best one. All these others, we got loads of euro pairs which are extended on ADR. Yeah, euro US dollar is not one of them, and neither is euro yen. So everything else euro is gone beyond ADR today. It's stretched. So these are probably your better mean reversions if you can get into them. We've got a strong pound still. It's holding the euro down there. Sorry, weak pound at the moment. But yeah, I mean, that's still a good one. So looking at the euro US dollar, we're just down on yesterday's low. We're sitting right on yesterday's low right now. We've got this previous day's low, and then we've got last week's low. Yeah, here's a good example actually of this explains the propulsion gap theory a little bit better as well. There's no propulsion gap here. Yeah, so look at this massive accumulation break. Yeah, this is a 3.5 day accumulation break. The reason there's no propulsion gap is because it pushed and then it pulled all the way back, and that wick before the candle started was filled. So there's no propulsion gap. If this candle, this red one here, had done that, you'd have a propulsion gap. But what happened was we pushed. This was news. This was the unemployment figures in the US. We pushed, and then we immediately retraced the entire move. And then the buyers stepped back in and pushed back up again. So there's no propulsion gap because we just returned to origin and popped from there. But here, you are going to get a propulsion gap. If this candle closes like that in just over half an hour, that's your propulsion gap. So if we do this now and then come back up into here, that's your short. So reversal alerts on M5, drop down into M5, grab your reversal alert when it hits in that area. So you can draw on, that's not going to be straight, but yeah, drop down into M5. So obviously what we're doing is we're assuming price is going to trade somewhere like this, just muck about down here. As it pushes up into here, the next reversal alert you get, short, what you're doing is you are taking a short retest of that, similar to this. Or this, except it overshot there, didn't it? So that was on its way. This was on its way to being completely invalidated. The sellers that started that lost, pushed through, but obviously then that news happened and screwed that up. Stalling out on the NAS. Right, that's really all I've got at the minute. Nothing much else happening, is there? So watch these euros for opportunities to get in long. You got a reverse alert on euro odd just above ADR. Euro CAD, you've just had a reverse alert, so there's your long somewhere up into that propulsion. Euro Swiss, I'm already in, so I will be waiting to get into a second. I'm going to struggle to get into a second. I'm tempted to take one here. It's 45. That's over half an ADR. I'm going to take one here manually. Whoops, not type news. So yeah, Euro Swiss, Euro Pound, I will get into a second. So for those who don't know, I take my positions half an ADR apart. Half an ADR is 29 pips. Distance there is 34. So as long as the reversal alert isn't here or something, you know, then I will get a second position on here. If it is there, I don't care, because obviously I'm pretty much back to where I was. But I will take a second there, which will be half an ADR. It's only 60 ADR on Euro Pound. Euro New Zealand, that's not reversed yet, but you've got a reversal alert potentially forming. Euro US dollar, again, as someone just pointed out, that one's just about to go potentially. That's uneven W potentially reversal alert. Get back up into there. So that's all of those. Looking at the euros, the best ones are Euro Swiss and Euro Pound, which is the ones that I'm on, because we've got COT positioning on side with us, and we've got sentiment on side on Euro Pound as well. The others, Euro New Zealand and Euro US, are both shorts. And Euro Odd and Euro CAD and Euro Yen are range bound. So that's the reason I'm on Euro Swiss and Euro Pound, because bias is more on our side on those two. But in effect, you could take any of them. They're all scalps. They're intraday scalps. So long-term sentiment from the commitment of traders doesn't make any difference, does it? Gold broke up. There you go. So long. We had no idea, did we, which way it was going, but it went long. So here is key. Are we going to get trampled by sell orders? Or is this the buyers saying, no, we're long? We're long. We're long. We're long. Sellers trying to get on board and say, no, we're long. Again, so I mean, everything you look at, nothing gives you any real indication of where price is going to go. All indicators do, and I think this is the bit that a lot of people miss, is tell you areas where it's a good time to get in potentially. Where it's going in the future, nothing can predict where it's going in the future. This reversal alert here could have been invalidated immediately. All it's doing is it's telling you something that's happened. This is telling you something that's happened. It's telling you where orders were placed. These lines are telling you where orders were placed. The bottom here is telling you where the market shifted direction. Everything you put on your chart, every indicator, every line is telling you historically what's happened. There is nothing that can tell you which way it's going. So measly $70 banked today so far. See how the rest of these play out today. Nasdaq's pushing back up. Again, see if we can get some sell action back out there. And if we do, and we can run the lows today, I will take another short, but I'm only going to short it back down. In fact, I'm going to put some TPs in place because I've got to go out. So I will short it, but I'm only going to short it back down to the Globex lows. It's not much point in putting that on. I suppose I could go for yesterday's low, couldn't I? It's all within an ADR. Let's go for yesterday's low. So I'm going to target there. I've got to take profit on that. Just going to target those lows, basically. Not getting greedy with this today because it's looking like it's probably going to be some kind of rotation potentially. Getting a bit late in the day for a move. Right, I'm going to leave it there today. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time. See how we're back in sync now. Yeah, that divergence that we had there, all back in sync again. This is what it's normally like. That's why you pay attention to divergence across indices. Yeah, okay, so I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50. We'll see what happens in DAX and obviously see what happens with all these positions that I've got on today. and we'll hope that we get some movement on this euro. But going to keep an eye on this because obviously the market seems to believe this person at the moment. But so many times we see these moves and they completely unravel all the way back to origin. So again, one or two things is going to happen. We're either going to come back and retest that fast or we're not. And this is legitimate. And Lagarde is going to come out and back this up. Don't forget as well, we've got this. We've got the WEF meetings, which is the World Economic Forum. We've got this happening all week. So all of the bankers are all sitting in attendance at these meetings at the moment. So this is where this rumor has come from, I suspect. And this goes on all week. We've got Lagarde speaking on Friday at 10 o'clock. And tomorrow. No, sorry, we're on Tuesday, aren't we? Thursday and Friday, Lagarde is scheduled to speak. So although those are orange, they could well turn into reds now this week, couldn't they? Because it might be very important. If we get continued pressure down on the euro tomorrow, we need to hear what Lagarde's got to say about this. So it could be important. PPIs tomorrow. And anybody got any yen on? If you have, be very careful tomorrow morning. We've got lots of potential yen volatility. I've not got any yen on at the minute. And we've got CPI. Before I come on tomorrow morning, we've got inflation figures for the pound. So again, big moves on the pound potentially tomorrow. I've got exposure on the pound. Short. I'm overexposed on the pound. But I'm fully short on the pound. So you've got shorts on Aussie dollar yen, Kenny. Yeah, we'll just keep an eye on them. Depending if you're short on this, just before I go, if you're short on this, that's fine. But depending on where you got short, you might want to break even it. Yeah, if you're short on it from somewhere around here today, then obviously there's not a lot you can do about it. But if you're short on it from last week at any point, it might be worth break evening. Because if we get a load of negative news about the yen, this thing's going to go through the roof. If we get a load of positive news about the yen, it's all going to come crashing down, isn't it? So happy days for you. But it depends whether or not you want to risk going into drawdown and you want to position trade it, or I don't know how you're trading it. So, but yeah, I mean, whenever you've got news overnight, and this is what I always do, if I've got news happening overnight for Aussie, New Zealand, or yen, if I've got any exposure on those pairs, I look at them this evening before I go to bed and I make a decision on either breaking even, closing, or leaving them as they are, depending on where I am. And only you can make that decision based on where you are. But I would expect some volatility tomorrow. I expect to wake up, fully expect to wake up to some ADR hits tomorrow morning on yens. So if you want to get into any yen as well, stick the market reverse alerts EA on, and it will get you in overnight if there are extensions. But I'm steering clear of the yen at the moment because it's confusing me, and there's plenty of other stuff to trade. I don't need to trade the yen. There's lots of other things out there I can get involved in, which I am. All right, have a good one, guys. Hopefully this NASDAQ collapses and I can get into small profit on that. But if not, fine. I don't care. Still got that buy on at the moment. I'm still hedged on this thing. Yeah, it's going to go one way or the other, isn't it? So whichever way it goes. If it goes, as I say, if we get a rotation day today, then obviously I'm just nothing I can do about that. But if we do break from here this afternoon, I'm on it, whichever way it goes. So, all right, have a good afternoon. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50. We'll see what the fallout is from the pound, CPI, and the yen, and see what opportunities we've got tomorrow. All right, have a good one, and I'll see you then.